Welcome to the Single Father Podcast. I am your host, Kendall Donaker. This podcast is dedicated for anyone out there who's dealing with mental health and fatherhood. You'll hear about my struggles, my defeats, my victories, my highs, my lows, my triumphs, my tribulations, and everything in between. I like to call this a collection of journal entries into my struggle and adapting to single fatherhood. Without further ado, let's take a look inside my journal, the Single Father Podcast. Well, hello, my dear friends, my pack. It is Kendall Donaker, your host, or as I like to call myself, Father DZ. It's a working title. It'll catch on, trust me. I am very happy that you joined me on this episode today. It has been quite the week for me. It's been a week of hypocrisy and reflection and a little bit of self-deprecation, but also a little bit of positive self-reflection as well. And I want to tell you a little bit about what I've been going through and experiencing. Recently, I did a podcast called The Benefits of Being Single. And admittedly, today, I feel a little bit of the opposite. Period. I mean, just period. I feel like I'm a little bit lonely. I'm not going to lie to you. And a little bit of that hypocrisy, I feel like, comes from my friends, to be honest with you. I think it all started a couple years ago where I was really connecting with my group of friends. You know, everyone has a group of friends that they have that, you hang out with all the time. And it's called the group. I don't need to explain what the group is. You know what the group is, the group. So I'm hanging out with the group. And one of my best friends, he has a girlfriend that he's been dating for a very long time. And they recently just moved in together. But not only that, when you look at them, they have their lives together. They really do. They have a house together. They moved in together. They are financially secure with each other. They seem immensely happy. I mean, that's from the outside looking in, but I think my boy would tell me if it was otherwise. But I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at this amazing, happy, perfect life that they have. And it didn't really make me jealous, but I was like, wow, I would like that one day. But I didn't really think about it until another friend in the group got a girlfriend. An amazing woman who is caring, loving, has a great job, great personality. I get along with her great, and she's instantly welcomed into the group. And now they've been together for a long time, and they're buying a house together. They're financially secure. They have good jobs. They are XYZ. And I was like, wow, I really want that. But I didn't really think about it too much. But then one of my other friends ended up getting a girlfriend. The hurtful part about it was this guy was the only single guy left in the group that I could rely on to make me feel better about myself for not having a girlfriend. And now he gets one. I think at that point I started to get a little jealous. Not like jealous about like angry jealous, but like, wow. These guys are going on couples vacations together. I'm seeing all these pictures with, all these beautiful hand-holding couple pictures on Instagram. And I guess I just felt left out. And I want to clarify, because it's not like left out of the group per se, but left out of life because I'm looking at them, right? And we're all sitting down and we're laughing and we're talking about the girls that I hooked up with, the girls that I'm talking to, or the girls that I'm matching with, or blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, my friends are going home to their loving girlfriends and having someone that cares about them right next to them at night. And me, I'm going home to Tinder. And something about that just felt so out of place to me, you know? And I know, I get it. It's hypocrisy because the name of my podcast is called the Single Father Podcast. And look, I've embraced that. But there's something about that I feel like I'm really just missing in my life. And I don't know. I feel like in a lot of ways, I regret a lot of the decisions I've made in the past. And I've put a little statement on my social media not too long ago addressing this. In the past, I'll say that anyone who's been listening to this podcast for a while knows that my father was no role model to me when it came to women. So the only time that I really got to learn about how to treat a woman or what it's like dating or the college experience or whatever the case may be was from movies and TV shows. And it was only until later in life that I realized it's a very dramatized version of what reality really is. So when I got to college, I felt like college was what I saw in Van Wilder, the movie. I don't know if any of you have saw that, but it was kind of about a guy who is this really charismatic, life of the party guy who goes around sleeping with a whole bunch of women and getting drunk and just having a good time. And that's what I thought college was about. And sure, I had that little nagging voice in the back of my head directing me of right from wrong, but at the time I was kind of angry at the world and I just thought, well, hey, this is college. But during that time, during that process of pain and confusion, I think I disappointed a lot of people. And I want to clarify that. I think I disappointed a lot of women who were expecting something better from me and only got this shallow version of myself. I've heard a lot of women back in the day. I said some hurtful things. I was rude. I led people on. I don't think I really cared. I don't think I really cared about anything during that time. And look, a lot of people subscribe to the notion of hashtag no regrets. And I like that, I do, but no offense to anyone who subscribes to that, but that's never really been me. I don't believe in it. Because there are some things that I regret in life. Or at least some things that I wish weren't true. Which I feel like is just another word for saying you regret something. I wish a lot of things weren't true about the way that I was in college and when I was younger. You see, I was kind of sexualized when I was younger with family and things like that. Nothing like sexual abuse or anything, but like, let's just say I felt like the only thing that I was good for was sex and making people laugh. I felt like those were the only things that were working for me. My family was a mess. I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I felt like the only thing that I really had to offer was sex and comedy. So I'd go around making people laugh at whatever expense or whose ever expense, or even if it was at my own expense. I tried to make people laugh all the time. And I tried to have sex all the time just because I felt like that's the only worth that I brought to the table. That's the only thing I could feasibly see that I could bring value to in a relationship. Eventually, that didn't really work out for me, obviously. The comedy started being less funny, and the sex stopped being as important or necessary or relevant or existent. And when people found out my name, you see, my name was really synonymous with bad behavior back in the day. So much so where I think I spoke about this before, but I started going around and reintroducing myself as Kay. I'd introduce myself to Kay everywhere instead of Kendall. Because in my head, I thought if people got the chance to know Kay, then once they found out that I was Kendall, it wouldn't make things just as bad. Because I wanted to change, right? This is the time where I desperately wanted to change the way people see my name. It wasn't until later in life, now, that I changed that philosophy, I really wanted people to, I wanted people to know Kendall. I wanted people to know me. I didn't want to be someone else. I wanted people to know me. I have a daughter, and I want her to grow up not hearing bad things about her father. So for years now, I've been trying desperately to change the way people see my name. And for some, it's set in stone, and for others, I promise there's more of me yet to see. But I say all this because it's been a contributing factor to why I am still single. I've been so afraid. I think my therapist would say it's a result of my mother, stemming back all the way to her. She's not in my life right now, and for good reason. But maybe it's a form of not trusting her and not trusting women or not trusting relationships or not trusting commitment, or I don't know what it is. But I know that I want things to be different. But it is why I have yet to have a relationship in my life, is because of some of those things and because of some of the actions that I've taken or some of the things that I've done. I remember one time I was going really strong with a woman, and she posted me on her story, right? And the moment that she did that, she got a message from someone saying, Kendall's an asshole, but he has a big dick or something like that. And I felt so uncomfortable ever since that day, afraid that someone would call me out the next time I have a girlfriend, or someone would say something about me, or if I had someone that I care about, she'll instantly hear things about me. And I got paranoid and afraid. And so I'd push people away, and I'd make excuses, and I'd be rude because I felt like, if I push you out of my life, then it would be better from you leaving my life. At least me doing it is better than having the pain of you doing it. And that was the wrong choice to make. I understand. I guess what it really comes down to is being afraid of your past. Sometimes we can be afraid of commitment, love, being loved, and everything in between. And a lot of times that can just stem from our experiences with our past. Sometimes we can learn from our past, and other times our past can be our adversary or our enemy. Sometimes the past can bring up good memories or bad. Sometimes it can help us move forward, and sometimes it can hold us back. In my case, I think it was holding me back. I was afraid of what might happen if I were to open myself up to the world and show the world that I'm not afraid, or that I love someone, or that, I don't know. You see, it's easy with my daughter. She's a piece of me. That's the love of my life. And, sometimes they don't tell you that the love of your life can be your kid. I love my daughter from the bottom of my heart. She makes me feel like I'm important. But I only have her every other week. And the weeks that she's not here, I'll tell you that, man, it just feels lonely. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast, with everything you need in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has the tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. But again, I remember posting someone on my story and them immediately reaching out to the girl and telling her things about me. And I guess ever since then, it was kind of a traumatizing experience that I've been afraid to share with anyone else. If I commit to someone and post someone, will they suddenly get inundated with messages about me in regard to my past? Will people look at me differently now that I am the person that I am now, and say we don't judge him from his past anymore? Will they leave me alone? Will they attack me? Will they try to destroy me? It's a lot of things that I think about in my head. And I guess it's been holding me back for a long time. Being afraid of what people might think about me. And I would really love to not be afraid anymore. I want to experience complete and utter bliss with someone without fearing my past mistakes, without fearing judgment of the mistakes that I've made in the past and the decisions that I've taken. Because it's a journey, not a light switch. And a lot of you might feel the same way. I mean, how many of us out there can say that our past is not an indicator of what we think about our new relationships or even getting into one? How many of us are afraid to love because love hurt us before? How many of us are afraid to take that leap because the last time we jumped, it hurt? And sometimes we can even run from a great thing. I mean, how many of us out there have felt like we're on cloud nine, only to be looking over our shoulders, waiting for the devil to push us off? So we rather jump off the cloud ourselves than the devil come and push us off. How many of us have ruined a relationship intentionally because you just thought it was going too good? You know what I mean? And that sounds ridiculous, but I know there's some people out there who have felt the same way, right? You think something's just too good for you. And that's a lot of what I thought in the past. Thinking that my only form of worth is sex and comedy. Why would this person love me? What's there about me to love, you know? The self-deprecating behavior and thought process is what held me back from finding a true, meaningful person in my life. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of living in the past. I'm tired of being afraid of what people think and the judgments that might come my way. All I want is to live a life of peace and bliss and to find the person that I know is going to lift me up instead of tear me down, who will look at me for my soul instead of looking at me for what I did in the past. You know, they look at my heart first and my actions second. And I don't know if that's the right wording that I'm looking for, per se, but you guys get what I mean. I want someone who sees me for me, not what they hear about me. For years now, I've been working hard to change the way people see my name, to make sure that my daughter grows up hearing great things about her father instead of the person that I was in college. And like I said, I know for some it is set in stone. It's like a bad memory and a good vacation. You don't really remember the great vacation, you just remember the one bad thing that's happened. I understand that, and I understand that it's like that for some people. But I promise there is more of me yet to see. I had a therapist once where I told her pretty much the same thing. And I said, I'm afraid of the opinions that people have of me. And she said, well, if you're tired of people having a bad opinion of you, then stop doing things to give them a bad opinion of you. And as kind of almost simply stupid as that sounds, she was right. I'm working towards a better future, a better tomorrow, a better man. And I want to be a better boyfriend and husband when that day comes. Because all is not lost, all is not hopeless, my friends. For everyone who's feeling the same way, like, is love really for me? Am I going to be lonely forever? No, no, no. We just have to be able to stand up to our past and say, I will not let you control me anymore. You don't get to decide what I do. I decide what I do now, here and now. I decide my future now. And I ask all of you, the people out there who are saying to themselves, I can't move forward because my past is in the way. Then go around it. Move forward. You can. You can. And to anyone who needs to hear that, I just want to tell you that you can move forward. And while you're driving into the sunset, you can give your past a middle finger in the rearview window, right? And I know that's easier said than done. Even the road to love is a journey, not a light switch. But we're a pack, and I know that we're in this together. And I'm happy that I got the opportunity to vent with all of you today. Because boy, did it help me put some things in the past and keep them there where they belong. I'm tired. I am. I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over again. Repetitive behavior. The dating game, you know? For everyone who has a dating app, you know what it's like. What do you do for work? That's cool. What do your parents do? What are your goals? Are you in school? That's cool. Have any kids? That's great. Well, and around we go. And it's like a cycle, It's like rinse and repeat. And I don't mean like a toot it and boot it type of thing. I mean, just, it's this weird how we just kind of run through people, Like in a short version, it's kind of like, hey, blah, 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 blah. It's nice talking to you. What's your number or Snap? I don't really give my number out. Okay, then what's your Snap? Do you have an Instagram? Okay, do you not have Snapchat? Well, Snapchat's for little kids, isn't it? What's your Instagram? Well, I don't really use Instagram. Okay, bye. And then another conversation. Hey, what's your number or Snap? I don't really give my number out. Here's my Snapchat. Okay, we talk on Snap. Doesn't work out. Someone blocks each other. Fine. Okay, hey, what's your number or Snap? Okay, here's my number. That's cool. You want to go on a date? I'd rather talk on here before we actually go on a date. Well, isn't a date the point of getting to know someone? Well, I'd rather get to know you on text before I feel comfortable getting to you on a date. Well, I don't understand that. I don't fucking understand that. I don't understand getting to know someone on text just to get to know someone on person. Well, then you don't really understand me or my boundaries. Goodbye. Okay, well, I'm a little old-fashioned. Sorry. Okay, well, you match with somebody else. Hey, what's your number or Snap? What do you do for work? That's cool. What are you doing? Rinse and repeat. Next one. What do you do for work? That's cool. What are you doing? Rinse and repeat. It's over and over and over again, it's tiring. And after the 1,000 person that you match with, you just get like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to just hook up. And it sounds weird, right? Especially for a guy. I don't want to just have sex. I don't want to just endlessly get to know you. I don't want to get to know you through an app just to get to know you in person, just to meet you in person 3 months later. I don't know. I don't want to do this shit. I want to meet someone that feels like I've known them my entire life. I want to meet someone where a conversation feels easy and just seamless, not like forced and nervous. I want to meet someone where it feels romantic, like love at first sight. And I know I'm asking for a lot there, but hear me out. Like, I think it's out there. I think it is. I think it takes a little bit of putting your past aside, loving yourself, and being able to just keep hanging on. That's kind of what dating is, right? You hang on. For better or for worse. And if it turns out being worse than worse, hey, you cut it, you move on, but you keep hanging in there. Because I am worth being loved. And I do want to find love. And I don't want to be single forever. Despite the name of my podcast, and I'll tell you what, I'm not even sure I changed the name of my podcast, but I don't want to be single forever. I don't want to be Father DZ forever. The single father. I want to find my person. I want to go on vacations with my friends. I want to be as happy as they are. I don't want to be single. And I know it will take time. But hey, all we got is time, right? I'm willing to wait. And I'm willing to put in the work. For someone else and myself. Guys, I really think that love is just yet to be found. There are so many benefits to having someone by your side that will lift you up, that'll make you feel great and give you the affirmations that you're looking for, to give you the support and care that you need. There is someone out there for you, for me, for all of us. I think we just have to keep hanging on. And when that day comes, I'll be right here to tell you how it is. I'll tell you the good times, the bad times, and everything in between. I'll tell you about my trials, my tribulations, and the times that I mess up and the times that I do things right. I'll tell you about the times that I felt lost and the times that I felt hope. But most of all, I'll tell you thank you. Thank you for letting me vent with you today. I'm the single father, Kendall Donaker, Father DZ. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook at the Single Father Podcast. If you want to be on the show and come vent with me, direct message me on Instagram. Message me and let me know what you think of the show. I think there's a link in this episode to support the show if you can. Anything helps. It just would allow me to get more quality content and possibly some amazing guests on the show as well. I like doing this. So please like, subscribe, share, comment, leave a review. It really helps. I'm hoping to get some sponsors on the show soon and boost up content. I really, it's cathartic for me, and I hope somehow maybe it helps you. And I know what you must tell yourself over and over in the darkness. You try to hold back all of the thoughts. But you know, one day, someone is just going to want you just the way you are. And they're going to tell you to lend me your voice. Let me see your face. Let me start to show you what I see. To bring you close. And let your words that you try to forget, they'll break through the silence. Let me see your past that you regret deep down below. Show it all. Anything you want to say, I'll be right here. I'll listen. Just let me close to your heart. And on that day, when someone tells you exactly what you've been waiting to hear your entire life, don't run. Because you don't always have to let someone close to your heart have control over your heart. There's a difference. Take a leap of faith, my friends. It just might be what you were looking for. Thank you for letting me vent with you today. Until next time, bye-bye.